I've personally booked over 4,600 sales calls for freelance writers just like you. And the biggest challenge I see holding talented copywriters back isn't their writing skill. It's finding consistent, high-paying clients. So after testing hundreds of outreach methods with over 128 copywriters that we worked with, here are the best 8 we've found so far. Quick disclaimer, each method we go over today has worked in the past for us, but the results may vary depending on multiple factors. So I advise you to watch the video all the way to the end and decide for yourself which one would be the best for you. In this video, we're mainly going to be covering 4 important metrics when it comes to each outreach method, which are cost in terms of money and financials, cost in terms of time investment, because that's important as well, speed, how fast you can actually get results with these methods, and the number 4 is going to be difficulty level, and I will try to advise you on which method to choose based on the level you're at in business, if that makes sense. And by the way, 2 things. Number 1, you can get this full document for free in the description if you want to just read through it at your own pace as well, or just keep it as a guideline. And then also, same thing, if you want to check out what we do in terms of client acquisition for freelancers, you can check out freelanceclients.com. I've linked our website here for you to easily access it. Okay, so with that being said, let's get right into it. The first method we're going to talk about, and this one, I know it's going to be super controversial. A lot of people are using it and they have like bad thoughts about it and so on. But I just want to give my honest opinion as well. And that method is job boards. Okay, this is probably like the most common method to get clients among freelancers. We all know Upwork, we all know Fiverr, freelancer.com, and even like job boards on Facebook groups, right? And what most copywriters get wrong when using job boards is they treat them like a numbers game. They treat them like outreach, right? And they're applying to everything with generic templates. Let me explain this to you, right? So when you're doing outreach, it's okay to have a generic approach because the person you're reaching out to, they don't know yet that they need your service, right? That's why they don't have a job post available, and that's why they don't have anyone working for them at the moment, right? So your job with outreach is to sell them on the idea of needing your service. Now, when it comes to job boards, a person that already posted a role in their company on a job board already knows what they want. They're not going to get sold on the idea. They're already sold on the idea. They need to get sold on you specifically. And you using generic templates and being the same as the other 100 people in your inbox is not going to help, okay? So that's why with job boards, it just doesn't work. So you have to be super specific, super involved in every single proposal you send, because the person on the other side of the screen, they're looking for this. They're not looking for a copywriter because they already found 10,000, right, on the job boards. They're looking for the copywriter that's going to join their team. And that's what you have to do through the process. Now, let's break job boards down honestly. Cost in terms of money, I think you can expect about $200, $0 to $200 a month. There are free options, but investing in premium features, on platforms like Upwork to like feature your proposals and have more credits and that type of stuff will give you an advantage over the competition. And like getting your profile verified and all that type of stuff. So I don't even suggest doing job boards if you cannot invest into this, because otherwise you're just like, if you invest, you at least like beat 70% of the competition, because those people are not putting any effort into this, right? So that's my honest advice. I'm not sure the cost these days of Upwork and all these other platforms, but I'm pretty sure they're still under $200. In terms of time, you could spend about 2 hours a day and still find a couple of good opportunities and craft like custom proposals with Loom videos, with samples put together and all that. But the speed of getting results, I would say, is medium, right? With a great proposal and paid premium features, you might need maybe 5 to 10 proposals to get your first call. And not all of the calls/interviews are going to be converted, right? So it requires probably like, if you're a beginner at sales as well, probably weeks of doing this to get a job. And the problem I've seen with the job boards is not getting jobs. You can definitely get projects and jobs, but usually the quality of the work is not the same. You're usually getting just low paid one-time projects, people with wrong expectations. There's a lot of scams going around as well, where people don't even have a job to offer you. They're just trying to like sell you into their thing. So that's, again, one thing to take into consideration, because if you're spending 2 hours a day writing and drafting and putting your heart and soul into those proposals, and then you find out that 50% of them are just like they don't make any sense for you, and then you have like 1 or 2 more scams, then you're not really getting a very good ROI on your time. That's what I'm trying to say. On the other hand, if you invested in like programs and you have like internal job boards where people are vetted and qualified before they get there, then it might make a lot of sense for you to leverage it. But at the same time, again, it's not like you can control how many job openings are at a certain time. If you've gone through all the jobs available and you left proposals for all of them, what are you going to do now? Just wait around? So that's why in terms of difficulty level, I would put it at a hard. Competition is intense and it takes significant effort to stand out among thousands of other applicants. The main challenge with job boards, as I said, it's you're competing with people willing to work for pennies, creating a race to the bottom on pricing, and you're limited by the client's project terms rather than selling your own offer. This is very important because great copywriters, let me just mute the audio, great copywriters and great freelancers in general, they usually have an offer. They don't just do random hourly work, right? I mean, you can still get up to 10,000 a month with hourly work, but having an offer is just way better, right? At the same time, if you're a total beginner, even though job boards might seem appealing because sometimes they're free and those people already need someone like you, I wouldn't even go for that, because if you don't have results, you don't have case studies, you will struggle as everyone is on these platforms. So I would much rather, as a newbie, I would much rather build an offer and do outreach than go on job boards. Okay. And as I said, if you do use job boards and you decide to use them, you should pay for the premium features and put real effort into crafting those proposals that address the specific needs mentioned in the job description, and leverage your best case studies, and just be as personalized as possible. Create videos. If you can, and you have the capacity, even write a free sample for that person, right? Like, do as much as you can to put yourself on top of the competition if the job looks good. So yeah, that's pretty much it with job boards. Now, I hope that makes sense. Moving on to method number 2, we have personalized cold emails. This is a big one. A lot of people are using this. A lot of people are selling the idea of using personalized cold emails to your clients, and they work incredibly well when done right. Okay, I agree with everyone saying this is a good method. However, this method requires significant research on a prospect, offering upfront value, and making them highly personalized to that specific prospect. Okay. What you can do, which is a little trick I have up my sleeve, is when you want to build this personalized emails, but you don't want to spend 6 hours a day looking through websites, you can just use custom GPTs and PDFs to create personalized lines. And this method is very underrated these days, but super efficient, right? So if I were to give you an example, I would literally just go to ChatGPT, come here. If you go here on the left side and you click on Explore GPTs, right, you will find a lot of GPTs already created by people. So you can literally just type in cold email, and it's probably going to pull up. Yeah, it's gonna pull up like 10,000 different email writers, right? So what you want to do is you want to start a chat with one of these guys or gals or robots or whatever you want to call them. And what we need to do now is, for instance, we're going to go to ClickFunnels website. I don't know, it just came up to my mind. And what you can do when you go to the website, right, is you can right click on the website and click on print. And now it's going to give you a printable document with the website, right? This isn't the best website because it has like a lot of videos and stuff on it. But anyways, so if I hit save here, I just want to use this as an example. Okay. And then we go here and we upload the PDF file. I'm just going to upload from computer. Where it is, ClickFunnels made easy. There we go. Write me a cold email personalized line based on this website of my potential client. Of course, you can spend a lot more time and build the prompt way better, like updating your style, maybe uploading like a couple of copywriting samples you have so it can learn your style, right? So this is right here, just a basic example, but I just wanted to show you the process. Right now, it's your job to go here and spend like a couple of hours and refine your prompt so it gives you the best results possible. But once you have a prompt that's working, all you have to do is just literally like download and print like the websites and social media pages of your leads and upload them here, and it will generate these personalized lines. Okay, so just wanted to show you a little trick there. That's super efficient. Now, let's talk about personalized cold emails and their comparison to the other methods, right? So in terms of cost money, I would say that you can build a system like this with about $100 to like $200, you're gonna need an email scraping software that can give you like the email address of other people, such as, I'm giving you some examples here as well that are really good. Signal Hire and Lucia are very, very good scraping softwares. I'm not sure what the price for these is these days, but probably under $100 a month. You really need verification tools to make sure you're not wasting your cold outreach credits and time every single day on unverified emails. Email Hippo is a good one. I believe this one was free. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it was free, or just like $10 or something like that. So definitely check it out. And you will ideally need a professional domain name. So instead of sending the cold emails from Dennis at gmail.com, I want to send them from Dennis at wordsmith, blah, 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 your website.com. You got the point. So in terms of getting that professional domain, Namecheap is the best option. You can literally, if you create a new account, you can get a domain for like $6, and then the email is like $2 on top of that. So you have literally no excuse to set up a professional email address. So yeah, these are the startup costs. Cost now in terms of time is definitely high. Even if you use the custom GPTs, you should definitely expect to invest 2 to 3 hours daily researching companies, using the GPTs to craft personalized messages, slapping the GPTs around when they're not doing their job and they're giving you like shitty prompts. And the more optimized you want the messages, the more work you have to put into those GPTs to spill out accurate data. And on top of that, of course, you still have to find the leads, make sure they're a good fit, follow up on other conversations, respond to the interested ones, right? So it's a whole process, and it can definitely take you 2 to 3 hours a day. Now, in terms of speed, I would say this is the same as the job boards. It's medium. You will typically need to spend like 20 to 30, to send, sorry, not to spend, 20 to 30 highly personalized emails to book a single call. And this, if you follow this structure and you have like legitimate emails that are verified, right? If you send emails to like a list that you bought from Fiverr for $50, you're not gonna get a call in 20 to 30 sent. Okay, so don't expect that. Difficulty level, I'd say this is medium. It requires skill and dedication to research and personalize effectively. And honestly, I feel like with personalized cold emails, you need to be an innovative person. You know, just like I had the idea with the custom GPTs, you kind of need to be good at that stuff, because that's what's going to separate you from the other personalized cold emails in their inbox. Because yes, you're not going to be the only one sending a personalized cold email. And yes, it's better than generic, no value, no human interaction cold emails, but you're still competing with people. You have to keep that in mind, okay? But if you do this right, it can deliver super, super interesting results, right? The key difference, as I said, is the depth of personalization. Instead of mass outreach, you select a list of 100 clients, research their business, use the GPTs, craft a messages specifically tailored to their needs. If you notice someone might need emails, you don't go and send them a cold email about the fact you write landing pages. You go and you talk about emails, right? You might even want to do stuff like signing up for their newsletter, waiting for that welcome sequence to trigger, and then recording a Loom video going over the welcome sequence, offering them value, right? So that's the type of stuff you have to do if you want to make this work. And that's why I said it's going to take you some time to send the 20 to 30 messages to book a call. That's pretty much it. Whilst these personalized cold emails have a higher conversion rate and often higher quality clients, in my opinion, it's not scalable if you're a freelancer. And I'm gonna tell you why. But if you're looking to do the numbers game, then maybe this is not for you. Now, let me tell you why this isn't scalable as a freelancer. You're not going to be able, even especially when you land those first 2 or next 2 to 3 clients, you're not going to have time to spend 3 to 4 hours a day sending cold emails. And then what's going to happen is you're going to work with your clients, you're going to end the contracts with them. And then because you haven't done any outreach in 3 months, because you didn't have time to, you will need to start from zero. If you are an agency or you want to scale into an agency, yes, then hiring someone that can do this process for you, teaching them how to do it, and then paying them a commission of the sales you make plus a base salary, yes, that is scalable, because then you can have someone work 8 hours a day putting together personalized stuff and just pumping calls in your calendar. But again, that's a very sophisticated method right there. And if you're just a freelancer looking to get a couple of clients and make your 7,000 to 10,000 a month and live happily ever after, then you might not want to get into that, right? So that's why I'm being transparent with you and just giving you the facts here, right? So yeah, that was pretty much it with method number 2 as well, guys. Now, method number 3, we need to talk about non-personalized cold emails as well, right? Because I need you to see the difference between the two. And this right here is the high volume automation approach to cold email outreach, where you set up a system, it does everything automatically, use softwares and tools and everything, right? Now let's analyze this method. The cost in terms of money is definitely a bit more expensive. It could be around like $650. And you need automation software like Lemlist or Instantly AI that can send these emails, right? Maybe I'm gonna do a tutorial in the future. So if you guys want to see a tutorial on how to send cold emails with Instantly, drop a comment under this video. But anyways, this is what you can use. They have like GPTs and LLMs and all that type of stuff integrated already, so you can use them for personalization, like not this level of personalization like method 2, but mild personalization. You will need multiple domains and email addresses. You cannot get away with 30 emails a day. Okay, you will need probably like 5 or 6 email addresses that constantly send 50 emails a day if you want to see some results. So that costs money as well, and it's like an extra technical setup that might go wrong. And you need to invest in lead lists, right? I personally recommend leadrocks.io for lead lists. Don't go on Fiverr. Don't buy lead lists from people. They are usually very, very saturated and they're not good. I have a special thing for you right here. This link right here, and by the way, this is not my affiliate link or anything, even though I should have become an affiliate of this. This is an offer where you can get LeadRocks for a lifetime subscription for just $79, and you have 5,000 credits every single month. So you can literally use it and exploit it and send 5,000 cold emails every month for just $79 one time, instead of paying like D7 Lead Finder or other softwares like a monthly subscription to be able to find your leads. Okay, so this is my gift to you guys. It's in the Google Doc. Feel free to leverage it, and I hope this provided you with what you need. Right now, in terms of cost in time, it's gonna take you definitely like maybe in the 10 to 20 hours time frame to set everything up, maybe a bit more if you're super like a super beginner at this stuff. But once everything is set up, the cool thing about this is that it literally takes you 15 minutes daily to manage the system. The only thing you will basically need to do here is just like open the inbox on Instantly or Lemlist and just respond to people, you know, track them in a CRM software and that type of stuff. So this is very good, I feel, if you are like cash rich, time poor. So if you don't really have time, maybe you have family commitments, you have a full-time job, and you're also trying to grow freelancing on top, I would definitely recommend just taking like 3 weeks to set this up after your 9 to 5 and let this run for a couple of months to get clients, rather than going for personalized emails and just because they sound better and you don't really have time for it if we look at the details, right? Now with speed, this is the realistic and transparent expectation you should have. Okay, you will need to send approximately like 1,300 emails to book one call. This sounds like a lot, and it is a lot, and that is how the industry works. Okay, everyone and their mother is doing cold emails these days, and it's super hard to break the barrier. Okay, only if you have a super good offer that nobody heard of, you're probably going to book calls with maybe every couple hundred emails, right? So while this system is definitely easy to manage after you set it up, you should not expect this to be like a full-time channel for you unless you scale, right? Unless you like send 20,000 cold emails a month, which can be a logistical problem depending on your niche, depending on the lead list availability you have, right? So there's a couple of bottlenecks there. But I'd say that if you follow these guidelines here, it's still a pretty solid way to book like 5 to 10 calls every month, including like follow-ups and emails that were sent like last month and so on, right? So that's what you should expect here. Difficulty level, I would say it's medium again. The technical setup is challenging, but again, once configured, it's easy to maintain and scale. If your niche allows for a lead list of like 50,000 leads, you can literally just plug the leads in, let it run for like 5 months, and you don't have to really deal with that stuff anymore. You know, just replying to the leads and that's it. As I said, it's I was just saying that this approach is perfect if you have money but no time. So yeah, the secret to success with this approach to get these kinds of KPIs is to have an irresistible offer and build authority so that people respect you more than just a random cold emailer, right? Generic pitches like "I help business coaches elevate their brands" won't cut it because they receive tens of those every single day. Your offer must be specific, results focused, and compelling enough to stand out in a crowded inbox. And it also works better if you have a proven email copy that has received responses so far. So if you are in masterminds, programs, or you just have friends in your network that have successfully gotten clients with cold emails, if you can get your hands on their scripts, that's going to help you a lot. This method also works best when targeting large industries where you will not run out of leads quickly, right? So you cannot leverage this approach for super small pockets, unfortunately, unless you are open to pivoting to other niches. So if you are going for like, I don't know, like super small niches, like B2G companies, like business to government companies, or grocery technology or whatever, right? I'd rather go to the previous option and send personalized cold emails, or just wait and see like if any of the following methods that I'm about to share are better, because you will run out of leads in like 3 weeks. So what are you going to do then, right? Yeah, I hope this makes sense. Method number 4, this one is going to be super untapped. And this is Facebook paid ads, okay? This is one of the most underrated client acquisition methods for copywriters, because most copywriters think you need to be a business owner in order to run Facebook ads. That's not true. Okay, you can run ads to sell your freelancing service and still be profitable, but there are a couple of like transparent and like honest facts you need to know before getting yourself into this, right? Because this is like a higher risk, higher reward type of thing. So let's go over the breakdown. In terms of cost, like money, I would say you need around $2,000 to start this up. You need to understand that putting $300 into ads is not going to do anything for you, especially if you have no experience and you're doing them yourself. You need enough budget to test different ad angles and optimize campaigns, right? And it might have to even be more, as you may need to pay an expert to do it for you. If you want to hire a media buyer, they usually go for like $700, $500 to $1,000 a month. It's going to be even more, but that's pretty much it here. So this is like definitely one of the higher startup capital methods if you are like cash rich and then time rich as well. So you're just starting, you have savings, or you have like a pension or another type of income that comes in and it can keep you stable until you figure this out. Ads is definitely a very good way to get it, definitely a very good approach to get into, right? Because this can be super fruitful on the long run. In terms of cost, time, after you set them up, you would probably just need 15 minutes daily checking performance and tweaking campaigns once they're set up. And I would probably add like plus like 2 to 3 hours a week to learn and get knowledge on improving the ads, right? Because you will need to like constantly learn, track metrics, look at decisions and that type of stuff, right? In terms of speed, the industry average right now sits at around $100 to $150 per booked call. And the difficulty level is hard, right? This one is definitely hard. It requires significant budget, which I'm aware not a lot of people have, especially if you're starting out. And it requires direct response marketing knowledge, but it delivers consistent results once optimized. I know copywriters that have been running their ads for 2 years and they're still getting leads and clients from those ads. The method isn't for beginners, for sure, or those with limited capital. So if you're down to your last $2,000, just because this sounds fancier, I wouldn't put my money into this. But if you have the resources and some direct response knowledge, it's one of the fastest ways to generate qualified leads consistently. And at the same time, guys, it is only a viable option if your pricing also makes sense, aka you charge big enough prices to justify a cost of $100 or even $200 per booked appointment, right? Per booked appointment, not per client. I just wanted to clarify that. Example, if you have a 10% closing rate and you're spending $100 per booked appointment, it will cost you roughly $1,000 in ad spend to get a client once everything is optimized, okay? So if it's a 1.5K website project, then it might not be worth it for the $500. You know, you might just go and do the other stuff. But if you know you're spending like $1,000, $2,000 to get a $3,000 a month retainer that signs a contract for at least 6 months, or with an average retention of like 4 to 5 months, then it's clearly a good investment, right? So this also falls into what I was saying earlier. This again works super well if you have an offer, not if you are just selling generic hourly rate freelancing services, okay? If you have an offer and your offer makes sense with the mathematics I showed you in this video, then definitely you should go and try it out, right? And also, again, transparency here, because I'm not trying to sell you a Facebook ads course. You're probably going to waste like $3,000 to $4,000 before you get the hang of it, until you start seeing these metrics here, all right? So ultimately, if you look at it on a yearly perspective, you need to figure out if it's worth like running ads for 5 months, spending maybe like 15K, and then seeing like what the results are. If the results of that for you could be like 4 retainers at 4,000 a month, for sure. Even 4 retainers at 2,000 a month, that's 8,000 a month, and it would take you 2 months to get your money back. You get the point, right? So do your math, be diligent here, and choose this method only if it fits with what you're looking for. Now let's go over to method number 5, which is Facebook and Instagram cold outreach. And I know this is one of the most used and thought about outreach methods. Okay, I know everyone talks about this method here. And direct outreach on social platforms can definitely be effective if done strategically. Now let's examine this method. Cost in terms of money, the main thing I like about this one is just that it's zero. You can set up a Facebook account and an Instagram account for free, join groups, look up like audiences of big people in your niche, and you have leads, you have an account, and you have like a profile, right? The cost in terms of time though, this is high. You should expect to spend about 4 hours daily finding leads, vetting them, sending messages, updating your profile, having conversations. And the speed, again, at the same time is slow because this is super saturated because of the fact it costs $0 to get into it. So every single person on this planet, probably, like if you're in the business space, you've probably tried DM outreach at one point on Facebook or Instagram. So in my opinion, if you have a good, strong message, you might be able to get a sales call booked every 400 or so DMs that are sent. The difficulty level is hard because combining the market saturation, which makes it difficult to stand out, and conversion rates are typically very low. Combining these two things, I would definitely say this is a hard method, right? It's free, but it's literally like taking the hard way out. That's the best way I can put it. The challenge with this approach is the market saturation, right? As I said, and decision makers on these platforms are also bombarded with messages, and they're usually less receptive to business pitches. One more common issue is that unlike other platforms, which we're going to cover a bit later, like LinkedIn or even cold emails, like 95% of the DMs on socials are going to land in the request tab. So there's like, on top of the fact that the market is saturated and people are bombarded with messages, on top of that, there's a 90% chance your message will not even get read. So you have to go through that chance, and then if your message gets read, you have to make sure it's a good one so the business owner can possibly get back to you. See, so it's kind of difficult. But yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of this method, guys. Method number 6, Facebook groups. This approach that I'm referring to with Facebook groups, I'm not referring to building your own Facebook group. I'm referring to like providing value in relevant communities where your ideal clients hang out. And this is also not just Facebook groups specifically. This could be school or other types of communities, right? Just any sorts of community structure that you can leverage to get clients. That's what I'm talking about here. Here's how it stacks up. So cost in terms of money, this can be free as well, but as with the email stuff and the other methods, I suggest investing to join premium paid communities where serious business owners gather. Because free groups will most likely just be oversaturated. Think about this. If a group is free to join, we all know how an audience in a free group looks like. Scammers, fake accounts, people that have like nothing to do with this specific niche, like it's just a mess. But if you find a course or a product that has a paid community, like a $397 course or mentorship or whatever, right? And that group has like 3,000, 4,000 people. Yes, you might have less leads, but the scammers and fake profiles and like the bad quality audience is not going to pay $400 to be in that group. So that's where you have an advantage, because if you can join a small group of your targeted dream customers and become an expert at what you do in that group, that's how you win a lot, because then it's going to turn into referrals, partnerships, and all that other good stuff. Okay, so in terms of time cost, I would say 2 hours daily would be a time you should realistically expect to spend here, because the way this works usually is you comment on other people's posts. What I like a lot is recording Loom videos. So getting this application I'm using to record right now, which is Loom, and literally like sending like if someone has a question, instead of replying with a generic comment, just pull up your Google Doc, write a solution, record yourself, talk about it, and send that loop video. That's tremendously valuable, and everyone will see that as a nice gesture and professional gesture, and people will want to network with you more. And it takes you 5 minutes, right? Speed, this is the only one where I would say speed is variable, because it depends on your value contribution in group dynamics. I'm not sure like how good you are at what you do. So you might be like a absolute beast and you send like 5 Loom videos a day into the comments and people like respect you and worship you like your god. On the other hand, you might just be starting out and you're giving off generic advice, and people like, they appreciate the gesture, but they're not really sold on the fact that you're an expert. You know what I'm saying? So it depends a lot. And also group dynamics, you know, because some groups might be more saturated than others. Some groups might be like focused less on posting, so you don't really have a lot of, you know, juice to squeeze out of the group, if it makes sense. So it depends on a lot of factors. Difficulty level, I would say it's easy if you have experience, because this requires consistent value contribution, but it has low technical barriers. It doesn't feel like direct selling, and ultimately you're also like reinforcing your knowledge by talking about the principles you believe in every single day, helping these people. So this is definitely a great method. I love it. I absolutely love it. But again, you need to get your hands on a solid group, get approval from the owner that you can provide value in his community and you're not stealing his customers or whatever. And yeah, get to work. The key to this is, as I said, it isn't just commenting with generic feedback, because that's what everyone does. That's pretty much it. This method, guys, I would say that it would work super well as a supplementary strategy alongside more structured outreach methods, especially when you're not busy with client work yet. So, for instance, combining this and personalized cold emails wouldn't necessarily work that well, because you would have to spend like 8 hours a day. But if you combine this with like non-personalized cold emails, that's totally workable. You know, you can spend 15 minutes a day, manage your cold email inbox, and then jump into some Facebook groups, offer some value, and then you have like 2 methods of getting clients there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Method number 7 is personal brand building. This involves consistently creating valuable content that positions you as an authority in your niche. And I know this is super popular, especially among Instagram users. You know, like you're posting carousels and doing like content and posting stories and lifestyle and all that stuff, right? Now let's analyze this approach. Cost in terms of money, you should probably expect to spend like $500 for content creation tools, scheduling software like Calendly, and possibly courses, because I'm pretty sure unless you've been a photographer or videographer, you don't really have skills of like creating high quality content. So you might want to invest in something like that. Cost in terms of time, this is definitely very, very high. Running a brand isn't as easy as batching 20 posts in a Sunday and then calling it a day, because that's not going to get results. You have to spend 4 to 5 hours a day creating content, posting stories, engaging, analyzing results, seeing what works, recreating what works, doing research, right? So it's not as easy as slapping some ChatGPT scripts and creating some shorts. It's actually a whole process, okay? And you have to treat this like a business in itself. The speed is very slow, right? Because you can't expect to like have 100 followers and the second you start posting, you get booked calls, right? This is a long-term strategy that will take you maybe 3 to 6 months to yield consistent results. I would do this if I am cash poor and time rich. So if you're in a position where you have money laying around and you can like go the next 3 to 6 months without seeing any income, or you have like a full-time or like a part-time job, or you understand my point, right? That's when I would do personal branding. I would invest the next 3 to 6 months, no expectations, just to build a brand and see what happens, right? But yeah, that's pretty much it. Difficulty level, hard. It requires significant time investment and consistency before seeing substantial results, and it has no guaranteed timeline, of course, because it's not like you can guarantee how many people are going to like your reels and get back to you and ask for your free resource or whatever, right? This isn't built for everyone, this approach, especially if you're just looking for a few steady clients. It also takes a lot of learning about different platforms and what works on them if you're not investing in an expert. Honestly, like this method, I would just use it if I'm a freelancer. I have the plan of getting a handful of extra clients, but then my next step is growing into an agency. Because if you can gather your clients to hit capacity within the next 3 to 6 months with this approach, and then at the end of the 6 months, you already have your capacity hit, and a personal brand to start an agency, that's perfect, you know? But unless that's your plan, I wouldn't really recommend this strategy just because it looks cool or just because people are telling you that, you know, it's free to record videos and whatever. So yeah, this approach requires patience and consistency, and this can give a boost to cold outreach and ads as well. Very important thing to mention here, because if a prospect sees one of your ads or cold outreach message or email, they will most likely search you up when you outreach them. So if they see that you are posting high value content, you have like a couple thousand followers, and you're posting like some nice stories from Thailand or whatever, you know, it just builds trust and shows authority to that client. So again, one more thing I like about this, again, if you can spend the next 3 to 6 months with no clients and just focusing on building that brand, do it, because you're gonna get you're gonna have an audience, you're gonna have a way to leverage this to build yourself into an agency, and you're gonna have social proof for whatever other outreach methods you're gonna use. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, method number 8, and the last one, is LinkedIn cold outreach. This includes using LinkedIn and its premium lead generation services to send DM outreaches to prospects. This remains honestly like one of the highest ROI activities for copywriters when executed correctly. This is the bread and butter of what we implement for clients as well, and this is why I've left it as the last method, because we've tried all of these methods that I mentioned, and this one has been by far the most successful for us. Okay, let's break it down. Cost in terms of money, you should expect to pay like $100 a month for LinkedIn Sales Navigator subscription, which is essential for effective outreach. Okay, with Sales Navigator, I have a couple other trainings on my channel about how to use it more in depth. But basically, what this allows you to do is you can literally like spend 5 minutes playing with the search filters, and you have a targeted list of 10,000 ideal customers that you can reach out to. And LinkedIn is a business platform, right? People are getting on LinkedIn for business networking. So your outreach is expected and mostly accepted. And yeah, that's pretty much it about the cost. Now, cost in terms of time, you should expect about 2 hours a day to send like 80 to 90 DMs to potential clients and to send out connection requests and respond to people and all that. Outreach will usually take you like 1 hour, and then you should expect to spend like another hour on following up and doing those types of activities, right? The speed of LinkedIn is fast. It's extremely fast. Typically, one call is booked per 80 to 90 outreach messages, which can be sent per day, right? It's super efficient, and even if it takes you like 200 messages to get a call booked, you're getting one call every 2 days, which is not a bad exchange of time and resources for what you get, right? Difficulty level, this is one is easy, because with Sales Navigator, finding and connecting with qualified prospects is straightforward. The business environment increases receptivity with the prospects. And lastly, one thing I want to mention as well is that, as I mentioned earlier, with Instagram, Facebook, these other platforms, your messages go to spam. With LinkedIn, because business conversations are prioritized, your outreach message is either going to get sent to that person as a notification, right? And we all know we all check notifications, right? We don't check the spam folder, but we check the notifications to see what happens. Or in some cases, if you leverage specific Sales Navigator features, the person can also receive an email with that message. So you're literally like killing 2 birds with 1 stone, sending them an email and a LinkedIn message at the same time that doesn't get sent to their request tab, and that shows up as the first thing in their inbox because probably no one else is reaching out to them on LinkedIn. One more thing about this is that, as I said, people are in a professional mindset when using the platform, so making them more that makes them more receptive to business conversations. The key to success here, outside of successfully using LinkedIn and its features, is to have a great offer and to leverage Sales Navigator and its powerful targeting features to find your ideal clients and maintain a consistent outreach schedule. If you send 20 to 30 messages here and there, it's not going to work, right? The one downside is LinkedIn's strict limits. If you break their rules and guidelines against outreach, you can risk a permanent account restriction. And by permanent, I mean it. Like, you're never going to be able to create another profile again with your name. You're literally just banned for life from the platform. And I want to give you like my advice as a person that knows these guidelines ins and out, because we work with them every single day. If you ever see automation tools on the internet, like softwares that claim they're LinkedIn friendly and they can do the outreach for you, please run away as fast as you can, because that's the easiest way for you to get restricted. Okay, doing manual, organic, and authentic outreach on the platform is not going to be breaking the rules. Okay, but using third-party softwares is breaking the rules. Okay, so please trust me on that advice, and don't take this method here saying that, oh, this is such an amazing method, and then an ad shows up for one of these softwares and you say, Dennis told me LinkedIn is good, let's try this software and I can literally hack the algorithm, and then your account's gonna get banned, and then that's pretty much it, right? So just do it manual, stay away from automations and any third-party software, and just read. Please, I know nobody reads this, but for once in your life, read their terms and conditions. Okay, it's gonna be super helpful. It takes 10 minutes and it's gonna keep you away from trouble. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. These are the exact strategies that our most successful copywriting clients use to land high-paying contracts consistently. We've been working with ghostwriters as well and other types of freelancers. So these strategies work for you as well if you're in one of those categories. Now, if you implement even just 2 or 3 of these methods properly, you'll be far ahead of 90% of freelance copywriters, I promise you. And if you take my advice, of course, on how to properly implement them. The real challenge, however, is, besides, making sure you're not going to get into LinkedIn's jail for life, the real challenge is implementing them consistently, following up effectively, and scaling your outreach while still delivering exceptional work to your existing clients. So there will be a point in time when you will just not be able to humanly do all of these things. When that time comes, I just want to let you know that we have worked with over 128 freelancers at this point to transform their business, offering a done-for-you client acquisition system. So instead of you spending months and years and potentially going through failure a couple of times to set one of these systems up, we just do it for you. And our average client books their first sales call within 6 days of working with us. And in certain cases, like Carolyn, who's one of our case studies, they can go from 1,000 a month to 5,000 a month in as little as 5 weeks of leveraging one of our systems. So yeah, it's all because we have a proven system that we know works, because we've done it for 128 people, right? It's not the first time we're building it, but it could be the first time you're building one of these for you, right? So if you want to learn more about this and what we do and how we do it and how you can possibly start having a consistent system like this in the next couple of weeks, click the first link in the description to discover how we can handle that for you, while you focus on what you do best, which is writing exceptional copy. So with that being said, I'll see you in the next one.